Hi everyone. Today I have an interesting question for you, and it is, why do you weep? Jeremiah was known as the weeping prophet, and he spent his time throughout the book of Jeremiah warning the people of Judah and Jerusalem that God was going to bring destruction on them if they did not turn their hearts back to God and stop their sinning. And then we get to the book of Lamentations. To make a long story short, they continued to disobey God and continued in their sinning. And so God used Babylon to come and destroy them and took some of them away captive as well. But the book of Lamentations is known as the book of tears. And that is because it's kind of like a funeral song that Jeremiah wrote, just expressing his tears and his agony for the people. He was suffering from a broken heart. And it's not a broken heart like we would normally think of. You know, he had a broken relationship, someone left him type of thing. But he had the heart of God, and his heart was broken because God's heart was broken. But his tears weren't of personal loss and suffering. They were tears of empathy and sympathy. They were sincere and full of compassion because he was crying out to God for the repentance of the people and because of his love for the nation. His heart was broken watching the people suffer because of their sins. Jeremiah said in Lamentations 2:11, I have cried until the tears no longer come. My heart is broken. My spirit is poured out in agony as I see the desperate plight of my people. Little children and tiny babies are fainting and dying in the streets. And right now in our world, we are seeing a lot and hearing a lot of similar things and situations going on around us. We see things like injustice, poverty, war, and rebellion against God. And those are the kind of things that should bring us to tears and cry out to God. Lamentations 3, 32 and 33 tells us God not only brings grief, but he also brings compassion. And he doesn't like to see people suffer. But rather, God suffers with us. He grieves from a broken heart because he made a way of escape, but people still reject him. He longs for everyone to follow after him. Now, following him doesn't mean we won't suffer at all. But he doesn't want to have to discipline us either, just because we do wrong. None of us like to suffer. If you do, then people might think you're weird, but we all hate to suffer. And going through all this corona and the riots, we're all suffering in our own ways. We're all suffering from the moral decay of this world. But we need to hold on to that one ray of hope that Jeremiah did. And he tells us in Lamentations 3:22 and 23, the faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercies never cease. Great is his faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh each morning. So today I just ask you to take a moment, maybe in your prayer time, instead of taking that time to shed tears on your own suffering or your own needs, take some time and shed tears and cry out to God for those around you that you know are suffering because of their disobedience to God, because they need to turn their hearts back to God. in repentance. Intercede on their behalf and remind them of the faithful love and unending mercies of God that are greater than any sin.